I feel so bad. I can hear you down the hall, bud. Hey, Seti. I need one more. I feel so bad for that dude, bro. He's like, help, help. And I fucking shot him, dude. Oh my god. No fucking way. Hi.
Hey, I'm gonna get this. I forgot.
What's up?
I forgot my damn iPad.
Oh.
Have you seen my mouse by any chance?
What does it look like?
It was that flat one that I had.
No, I haven't seen it.
I probably took it with me.
Love you.
Love you.
Oh, I need this key, bro. Poor Walter. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh shit. Fuck. Fuck. That poor dude, bro. He's like, help, help me. And I fucking shot him because I needed that kill. Fucking guy. Oh, man. He's probably like, that dude is a real dickhead. And I don't blame him because that was a real dickhead move. I had to do it though. I needed the kill. I think I need one more now. Just one more and I'm good.
Will come in. Shouts that I got Dennis, who would come in and kind of tell us, hey, you know, this is what we need to do to improve. So
yeah,
and
see, I
from the
need
last
one
few
more.
meetings we had, our ratings were great. We were doing good, you know. So it was, you know, it was a Tuesday. I don't want to get emotional. I promise y'all. But it was a Tuesday. The show had just ended. I actually had to skate a little early. I had to dip out of there a little early because I had a meeting that I had to be at, that I had to make. So I actually left. You know, the show ends at 10. I'm usually there until about 10:30, 11 or something like that. But I actually skated a little earlier, you know, about 9:45-ish. I ended up dipping out the spot. And as I'm leaving, I get a phone call from Pup. Before you skate, can you hang around real quick? And I was like, oh, I already skated. Well, he was like, before you leave, can you hang out? You know, Dylan, his boss, the big dog, wants to have a meeting. And I was like, you know, I can't really stay. He had said he wants to have a meeting with us. So in my mind, it was the whole station. Because every once in a while that happens. You know what I mean? If there's something that's important, you know, right after the show, they might pull us in and be like, yo, let's have a meeting real quick because, you know, XYZ is happening. And as a team, we need to discuss this. So he was like, yo, he wants to have a meeting with us. So I was like, oh, all right. Well, I had to dip real quick because I got to go do something. And he was like, oh, okay, I'll let him know. I then group text the team, Ashley, Santi, AJ. I was like, hey, yo, listen, you know, this is, can somebody call me from the meeting, put me on speaker so that way I can hear what's going on because I had to escape. For all y'all who don't know, I know some of y'all might be new to this channel, or maybe you're just seeing this for the first time. You know, those are my co-hosts. Ashley was the main co-host. Santi was the executive producer. AJ was also our board op and co-executive producer or co-producer. And then, of course, I'm there as well. So I sent a group chat to them and I'm like, hey, yo, you know, put me on speaker so that way we can have a meeting. No doubt. I'm driving off. Maybe Pup is like, all right, cool. I'll let him know. Maybe 5-7 minutes later, I'll get another call. This time it's from Dylan. Mind you, before I picked up the call, I looked at my phone and I seen a missed call. So I'm notorious for this, right? I keep my phones on silent. My phone stay on silent. If you ever try to call me and I don't pick up, please don't feel a type of way. It's just you're not part of my emergency list. Like I only got an emergency list of people. Like that's my family. Like I'm talking my kids, my BMs, and my family. Like my parents, my brothers, my sisters. They're all on an emergency contact. So if they call me, the phone rings. If anybody else, I see you when I see you. And I did that. I mean, I did that before because, you know, I was getting a lot of distractions. You know, anytime you get ding, you hear the phone make a noise or something, you're kind of like, oh, I got to go see what it is. So I found I was starting to become a little hectic. So I said, nah, you know, we're just going to leave that where it's at. So anyway, I get a call from Dylan. I see the call coming in. I'm like, I bet. Why is Dylan calling me? I thought it was going to be, you know, Ashley, one of them.
bro. I just need one fucking headshot, bro.
I think in a split second, I was like, something not right. You know what I mean? Something
Dude's
not right.
trash
This
too,
don't
bro.
feel right. But anyway, I pick up the call and he's like, hey, what's up, bud? You know? And he's like, he begins the conversation. Yeah. You know, we wanted to have a meeting with you. But Pup told me he had a meeting. And I said, yeah. And he was like, well, I just want to let you know, cut straight to the chase. He's like, I just want to let you know that today's your last day on jamming. I was like, I want to say I was shocked, but I wasn't, though. In hindsight, now that I think about it, I want to say I was shocked, but I wasn't, though. Because like I said to y'all, man, like, the writing was almost on the wall. I don't know. I almost felt like it was coming, you know? But bro was like, yo, today's your last day on jamming. No, pardon me. The way he started the conversation was, the company's making some changes and some directions with the morning show. And and because of that, you're no longer on, today was your last day on jamming. Now, again, behind the scenes, me, Ashley, AJ, Santi, we've always had these conversations. Like, they could come and pull the plug from the station at any time. They've done it to bigger stations. They've done it to bigger, more higher rated shows in the company throughout the years. So, you know, even one of the guys that, Alan, man, he was one of the dudes that started jamming, like, back in the 90s. Him, Shailene, and I think somebody else. But they let him go. They clipped him a while ago. And he was like the top dog, you know what I mean? And like I said, he was like the founder, like back in the 90s, 94.5 changed dials from, I think, being a rock station or something and became hip-hop, and it was only the three of them that locked in and said, yo, we're going to make this a hip-hop station. He was the founder. So when he got clipped, I was like, hey, yo, anybody's on the table, you feel me? So anyway, so dude calls me and he's like, yeah, you know, that we're making changes, and because of the changes, you know, your something like your position at the morning show, something to do with the morning show, you know, it's gonna change your role in the morning show. So as of today, this was your last day on air. I'm like, okay, what do I do with that information, right? I'm driving, by the way. I'm like, okay. Then, yeah, it's still tough. Then bro was like, you know, I need, you know, I know Pup said that you left, so I need you to bring your key card in, and Ray, and I just need to get, you know, you know, the whole spiel. He gave his spiel. Me, I'm like, all right, so my next question is, you know, this is, because it doesn't make sense to me, right? I'm like, you know, I'm part of this station, a big part of it, right? I'm like, all right, so what does that mean? Like the homeowner show is done? He's like, nah, we're just gonna have to. I think I said, yeah, is the homeowner show finished? Like, is everybody like, what's happening? That's what I said. I said, what's happening with the morning show? He said, we're just gonna have to go a different direction, unfortunately. And I understood his position, or at least now I understand his position. You know, he's chopping somebody, you know? He's in essence letting somebody go. So he can't, also legally, he can't say too much because, you know, he's got to protect the company, right? So he can't say too much to the point where it's like, hey, yo, you know, if I say this, you could always run. You know, people sue for all kinds of things. So, you know, he was keeping it, he was doing what he needed to do. He was doing his job. And he just kept it short and sweet. And he said, hey, listen, you know, I just want to let you know personally. And I appreciated him saying this. He was like, I just want to say this to you personally. You know, you know, I know you're going to, wherever you land, you're going to do good. And you know, it's unfortunate, things of that nature. You know, he gave me a little consoling. But at the end of the day, he kept it pretty straightforward, you know. And I was like, I bet. You know, what do you say after that? You can't. You don't say anything. You just, all right. That's, I guess, 20 years finished. Hung up the phone, and I had to say, and I'm driving, and I was like, hey, yo, what just happened, bruh? Because at this point,
Come on, dude. That first hit, though, it didn't hit him in the face? What the fuck was that? Oh, God, man. I really thought the first one got him.
point I already know, like, you know, it's just me, right? At this point, I had the sense like, nah, ain't nobody else get affected by it. And actually, when I sent that text, remember I told y'all earlier, when I sent that text to the team, to the morning show team, and I was like, hey, yo, put me on the phone whenever y'all ready to have this meeting. I never got a response. So I'm like, at first my mind was like, yo, did these people know what was about to go down? Mind you, we had, you know, regular day. It was a regular morning. I was like, ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. Ain't no way they faked it that well that we were just having rapport like we normally would, and y'all didn't say a damn thing. Ain't no way. But that thing, you know, I'm keeping it real. This is what Foreign Frequency is about. We're gonna be honest. I felt like, hey, yo, maybe they knew. I mean, later on, I talked to Ashley, I talked to Sante, and they did. They had no clue. You know what I'm saying? By the way, shout outs to them. But yeah, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. You feel me? Word to Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump. That's the way the cookie crumbles. So that was it, you know. And I thought, and I was driving home. I think the first call I did after a little while is I went to this meeting because I needed to go to this meeting, handle the business, and then be out. And then the first call I made was to my mom's. You know, and my mom's had just been here. My mom's had just visited over the summer. My dad had been here last winter, and then came back with my mom's in the summer, and I brought my mom's to the station. This is the first time she'd ever been there. She hadn't been in the States because for all y'all who don't know, I'm Kenyan by birth, born and raised actually. And my mom's and my dad had lived out here for a while, and then they ended up moving back home to retire. So my mom hadn't been in the States for a minute. So I was, that was a proud moment in the summertime. I took my mom's out there. She sat behind the control booth. She was on the mic pretending she was on air and everything. She was proud of her boy, her last born. I'm the last born of four. So, they probably, and if you have immigrant parents, then you know that they're not really, you got to be a doctor. You got to be a dentist. You have to be go be a lawyer. What are you doing playing music? That's the devil's work. And my mom's super Christian. But, I was able to prove him wrong, man. I was able to prove him and say, nah, I don't got to go to school to do X, Y, Z. So this was a moment for me to show my moms, like, hey, yo, look at what your baby boy has done. You know what I mean? Even though y'all didn't believe in me in the beginning, look at what your baby boy has done. And they believed in me. I know they did. You know what I mean? Off of music, I've done amazing things for my family. My parents especially. You know what I'm saying? Especially my mom. Because me and her grew up together alone for a long, long time. My dad was out here, out trying to make things work for the rest of my siblings, my sisters, my brothers, all of that. But mom has as a last born, you already have a special bond with your moms, but me and moms went through it. I was there when she was working hella long hours trying to feed me. My brother was in boarding school. My other two sisters were abroad in schooling. My dad was abroad with one of my sisters trying to help her out. It's just me and her back home in Kenya, and it's like, you know what I mean? And as a kid, you don't really realize how much sacrifice your parents make to try to give you a better life. And, I saw my mom do it. She struggled, bro. Like, she went through it a lot. So when I started, when this thing started clicking for me and I started, just getting a little kind of something, I always made sure, like, my mom is good. Even to this day, I make sure my mom is good, So for her to come to the station and see it, that was a big thing for me. That was huge because I was like, look at what it is. So she was the first one that I called, and I had that conversation with her, and I let her know, hey, yo, I just got clipped. I just got let go. We had a moment. My dad was there too. I spoke to my dad, and my dad was like, and here's one thing I do want to say. I talked to a bunch of people. I talked to my
Fucking goddamn it. What the fuck?
I didn't tell my brothers and my sisters for a while, but, the two most important.
He just happened to fucking throw it right on me.
But in going through this, I realized one thing, yo.
Let's take a look at his stats.
You could ever ask somebody
that was fucking...
or had, like, especially a work situation, what are you going to do next? The fuck you mean, what am I going to do next? I don't know what I'm going to do next. It's been X amount of hours, X amount of days. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do next. For 20-something years, I eat, breathe the radio. Now all of a sudden you ask me what, you know what I mean?
Just in case.
And it made me think, because I've asked those questions. I've been the asshole to ask those questions too. That's an asshole move. So the next time someone is going through a life situation, don't ask them what are you doing next, because they have no clue. But I digress. So that was a conversation I had with my moms, and I went through that emotion, and the next few weeks was just, especially the next few days, was just like, now listen, you got to understand something, right? I'm doing a morning show. I drive 45 minutes to an hour to get to this morning show, which means every day for the last 6 years, maybe 7, I was waking up at 3:30 in the morning. You feel me? Every day. Well, 5 days a week. 3:30 in the morning. Getting there to about 5:36. Do the show until 10, 11. Come back home. Like, there was a routine that was already set in place, right? And when that routine breaks, it's kind of like when you're such a busy, because I was, between that DJing, at the clubs, whatever other events I had going on, and every other thing I had going on, it was a schedule for 6 years that I got used to. Even Santi and Ashley always used to complain about waking up mad early. I never minded it. I liked it. I like the hustle. I like the grind. I like being busy, So with that being said, all of a sudden just stopping and not being busy. That was different. There was a range of emotions, you know, and that plays to your heart. You feel me? Like that kind of makes you feel like, damn, like I'm dealing with this heavy news that my career has kind of, you know, at the time has come to a stop. You know, that's how you feel. Like, yo, this thing that I built for mad long years, like I told you, like since I was in my 20s, I was on these airwaves, you know? And to finally work up that ladder and work up that grind and become the morning, you know, part of the morning show, and then, you know, rock that out for the next 6 years and still steady grinding, and then all of a sudden it just comes to a stop like this. That's crazy. You got to think about that. That's a mind fuck. That's a gut punch. I said this on the air. That's a gut punch. You know what I mean? Takes the wind out your sails, because it's kind of like you start second guessing, like, why me? You know, all kinds of things go through your head. Why me? Why me out of all it? Why, you know what I'm saying? Out of everybody, like, is my talent not good enough? Like, why'd you choose me over? And again, I wouldn't wish this on any other person that I worked with on that morning show. But you know, you think to yourself, like, why me? I'm the only one, right? It was not like the whole morning show got canceled. I'm the only one who got laid off. So it's like, why'd y'all single me out over everybody else? It's all these conversations and that you have with yourself. You know what I mean? And the thing is, now, if you're not busy, you know, when I'm a busy bee, you're not really thinking about a lot of things, you know? Like when you have tragedy or you have like sad news or something like that, if you're a busy person and you keep moving and you just moving and grooving, you don't take a lot of time to just say, this forced me to like sit down. I don't got to get up that early no more. You know what I mean? I had to turn off. That was probably one of the hardest things to do, was to turn off. I had my alarm set like on those, you know, 3:15, 3:10, 3:15, 3:30, 3:45, 4 o'clock. I had to turn all them joints off, knowing that I'll never turn them on again, not for a while. You feel me? That's, yeah, that could. And then now you at the crib, and you just thinking about this constantly. You know what I mean? They talked about it on air. All of a sudden, I'm getting DMs. I'm getting texts for people who are close to me like that. I'm getting phone calls. Like, I was ducking phone calls. Like, there was people calling me, and I knew why they was calling me. I was like, I ain't answering to you, because what's the question they gonna ask me? What you gonna do next? Shut the fuck up. Respectfully, right? What are you gonna do next? I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do next, man. My whole career is down the drain. Like, what the fuck you asking me what I'm gonna do next? You know what I'm saying? And you know, you're thinking about finances. You're thinking about, I just bought a crib, right? A year ago, yeah. This is my 1 year anniversary. I just bought a crib. And you're not thinking like, and you know, that's another funny thing, is that a lot of times in radio, I've heard of people who moved to certain locations, and the minute they bought the house, sure enough, they ended up losing that job.
damn it. All fucking scabs, bro. I don't need scab kills. Oh, that's so fucking annoying.
I think I'm gonna end things with him. I'm tired of clenching my butt cheeks every time I have to hold in a fart. Just really uncomfortable. I'm sick of it. Yeah. I don't know. This whole relationship thing just isn't fit out for me. Dude, I can't fart in front of him. It's so bad. No. I don't care. Hey, Mom. What's the best way to get out of my hair? You use that gel thing?
Come on, I just need one more fucking kill, bro. Do I have any in here that are fucking good? I mean, it doesn't even matter because I gotta hit him in the head anyways. Right? Right. Whatever. I mean, the VPO is a little better. I got a lot more control with it.
Right?
Before I bought this house, I swear to God on everything I love, I was like, yo, I'm going to buy this crib and something's going to happen to the radio. Maybe I jinxed myself. I don't know. But, you know, the things that I kind of thought about happened. Anyway, I ended up getting laid off. You know, they tell me my last day, you know, ride out the rest of the week. You don't got to come into the station. You can't come back into the station. And they gave me till the 15th. So I got paid for about a week. And then at the end of the month, your benefits run out. Just like that, bro. Like, even to this, as I talk about this, I'm even like, hey, yo, like, really? Like, y'all can even, you know what I'm saying, extend my joint out for a month, you know what I mean? But that's the business of radio. You know, it's a business at the end of the day. You build these friendships, you build this family, and these bonds with people. But at the end of the day, you know, there's someone somewhere that don't give a damn about what you got going on. So, and to them, it's about their bottom line, right? Like, are we making enough money to be able to sustain this company? And they felt it necessary for me to get clipped. You know, I wasn't the only one that got clipped. You know, my girl Winnie, also on Kiss 108, she ended up getting clipped as well. And I felt bad about that because she too had fought hard to get onto that morning show, you know, and she was there. Again, I don't know how many years, but maybe 2 or 3. I don't remember her length, but even for her, you know, I felt bad for her. I was like, damn, I'm you know, whenever we did our podcast, this might get awkward. Salute to all this might get awkward fans and followers when we were doing that. You know, again, off the scenes, I knew how much that was a dream for her to get on that station. So when she got clipped too, I was kind of like, damn, you know, that's kind of messed up. So yeah, so that happens. I'm not immediately thinking and getting bombarded with, how you doing, what's going on. And even though I appreciated that, it was a constant reminder of what happened, right? It's a constant reminder of, damn, bro, like, they took, it felt like everything had been taken away from me. And, it took me a little while, honestly. It took me a little while to come back to
Come on, bro. Dude's fucking hacking, bro. Come on, man. Always. I'm exhausted. I need to take a break from this shit.